you've registered to bid today, then you would have been made aware of the auction bidding terms and conditions. But for those that have joined the auction, it is my duty and responsibility to advise you that today's auction shall be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for your inspection before the start of today's auction. Those auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for the property after it has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The auction rules prohibit false bids and prohibit major disruptions by bidders and prohibit bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding and provide fines for this conduct. Our vendors have reserved price. As the auctioneer, I'll indicate bidders on request, and the law permits vendor bids. The words I'll use to indicate I make him bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law, only I as the auctioneer can make a vendor bid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they are your bidding terms and conditions, no different than what you'd expect to find at any auction throughout the state of Victoria. For those that are joining an online auction for the very first time, there are two ways in which you can bid here today. The first is by unmuting your microphone, turning your camera on, and calling out your bid. The second, and probably the most popular way to bid, is to type your bid into the chat function. And if you are doing that, I'll ask you to type in your paddle number as well. So just to give you an example, if you are paddle number 3, then if you can type in your bid, for example, as paddle 3, and then the bidding amount as the example there, $1,250,000. It makes it nice and easy for us to process at our end. Once the bids start coming in, you can see the pictures of the property rolling through there and giving you a taste for the opportunity. Once the numbers start coming through and your bids start rolling through, then you'll see numbers coming up. First and foremost, they'll be in white. If we get to a point where we are on the market today, then those numbers will turn green. Green signifying that we're selling, we've reached an acceptable price. And from that point on, the highest bidder shall be today's purchaser. Now, for those that are using the Google Meet function quite often, you'll notice down the bottom there is a silhouette of a hand, which is the raised hand function. That is not active and does not constitute bidding here today. So just as a reminder, there are two ways in which you can bid, either through the chat or by unmuting your microphone, switching on your camera and yelling out your bid here today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again here to 848 High Street Road. Alan, Zhang and Darryl Wickham, a formidable team throughout this Glen Waverley area, have been looking after you right the way through the campaign. And what an outstanding opportunity it is. As I said, currently tenanted, so it is a ready-made investment for someone who is looking to add a property to the investment portfolio, some 655 square metres of land, north-facing allotment. Definitely potential to update and to renovate the existing 3-bedroom home that is here, but I'm sure there's appeal also in that level allotment, 655 square metre plot, north facing, as I've said, making way for a wonderful family home here. And when you do so, you're within stone's throw of everything that Glen Waverley has to offer, from the primary school to Kerry Road shops. The bus and transportation there will take you up to the Glen, up to the cafes, up to the railway station in only just a few moments. It's probably about a 10-minute walk, uphill on the way to the shops, downhill on the way home. So it provides you a good fitness workout there if you're willing to take on that 10-minute walk or so up the hill, and you're into the central hub. And Glen Waverley opening up, as is most of Melbourne and Victoria now, with vaccination rates going through the roof, and we're now open and trading for business, not just in real estate, but of course your cafes and restaurants, and making the most of this metropolitan and hub that we have here in Glen Waverley. Buyers, I'm not going to hold you back any further. You've logged on this morning to buy real estate. I wish you well with your bidding and competition here today. Who'd like to be the first one to start us off? 848 High Street Road here in Glen Waverley. Ladies and gentlemen, opening bidder offer to start. Where do we start? Where do we go here today? Offer or bid to get us moving here. Buyers, in your hands. Don't mind the start. 848 High Street Road, Glen Waverley. Yan Yan Zhao, welcome to your good confident bid at $1,300,000. Bidders and buyers at $1,300,000 is the call. Where do we go from there? At $1,300,000, call it from there, and a $10,000 rise at $1,300,000. Got to be in it to win it. Thank you for typing in your paddle number at $1,300,000. At $1,300,000, can we say 10 buys anywhere now? At $1,300,000, good confidence start there at 1,300,000 the bid. At $1,300,000 and 310, Jeff paddle 5, welcome there. At $1,310,000 Yan Yan, can we offer it back to you at 20 in the rise? At 1,310,000 at 30, good bid. At 1,330,000, good confident bidding there. At 1,330,000, 2 in it. Lightning start at this stage. At $1,330,000. Don't miss the opportunity here today, buyers. I said I'm happy in 10 the rise. At $1,330,000. Is that our best? Are we all done now, buyers? Shotgun fast auction at $1,330,000. Once the call all done at $1,330,000 now. Second time all done and finished at $1,335,000. I can't take your 5 at this stage. Hold on to your 5 and I'll get back to you shortly. At $1,330,000, it'll need to be 10 in the rise from here. At $1,330,000, Yan Yan Paddle 9 is holding the highest bid. $350,000, good bid. At $1,350,000, Alan maybe seek some instructions if you wouldn't mind. At $1,350,000 is the call. Paddle 9, strong bidding at this stage at $1,350,000 the call. At $1,350,000, is that our best bid, buyers? $1,350,000. Highest bid is there at $1,350,000. Too competitive bidding at this stage at $1,350,000. Are we all done and silent at $1,350,000? Well, call away 3 times now and 3 times only at $1,350,000. First time. Second call at $1,350,000. You've heard it now, third and final time. All done and finished at $1,350,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will ask for your patience for just a moment. I'm going to get on the phone to Alan and to the vendors and to understand their instructions at this point. Yan Yan, I'm going to submit your bid at $1,350,000 and I'll be back with you in just a couple of moments. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. So just seeking, obviously, these online auctions. We don't have the benefit of being able to get onto the owner straight away. We're just making contact with the vendors now to seek their updated instructions here today. Yan, we presented your bid at $1,350,000. If you've just joined, I've seen a couple of people just join. We started the auction a little earlier. The terms for today's auction, 10%, 30, 60, 90 days. It is selling subject to lease, as there is a tenancy agreement in place there. $400 per week. Buyers, 655 square metres, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 2-car accommodation, 848 High Street Road here in Glen Waverley. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff, you've been our underbidder, and Yan, you're in the lead, $1,350,000. We'll reopen the bidding now, buyers, at $1,350,000 as we wait for Alan's instructions here today. At $1,350,000 the call. Can we see even a $10,000 rise from here? At $1,350,000 the call. Can we say 60 anywhere now, buyers? At $1,350,000. If you haven't yet bid, you can see the bidding syntax there to put your paddle number and then the offer straight in. At $1,350,000, buyers. Is that our best bid? Are we all done now? At $1,350,000 the call. What's the call now at $1,350,000? Second time now. At $1,350,000, Jeff, if you can just indicate, are you in, are you out? To the others that are logged in, I can see we've got 10 people logged in here today. Just want to be very sure that we've got our best bid at $1,350,000. Is that our best? Are we all done here this morning, buyers? Yan Yan, you've increased your bid, $1,360,000. Alan, is there any update and any instruction from the vendors at $1,360,000? If there is an update, if you wouldn't mind typing into the chat now, at $1,360,000, paddle 9, increase the bid there at $1,360,000 the call. At $1,360,000, just seeking that instruction from you now. At $1,360,000, at $1,360,000, Yan Yan's in the lead there. At $1,360,000, if you can just unmute Alan and give us an update. At $1,360,000 the call. $1,360,000, Yan Yan is in the lead. $1,360,000. You can see the bid coming up there in the white numbers on your screen. At $1,360,000, the bids against Jeff and anyone else that's online at this stage. At $1,360,000, Yan Yan, you're in the box seat to purchase today. At $1,360,000. Are we all done and finished here? At $1,360,000, we call away first time. At $1 million.
We are selling, Andrew.
On the market. Thank you, Darryl, for the confirmation there. $1,360,000, Yan Yan. You will be the purchaser if there is no higher bid. You'll see those numbers turn green in a short moment. There we are at $1,360,000 to Jeff and to the other bidders. Here is your chance. Don't miss it this morning at $1,360,000. You'll hear 3 calls and then we sell at $1,360,000. What? $1,360,000. Twice then for 655 square metres, 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 848 High Street Road here in Glen Waverley. Walking distance to Glen Waverley Primary, to the shopping centre, the cafes, the restaurants, the railway station. It's all here within easy reach. Buys at $1,360,000. Jeff, you've been with us right the way through. Are you still in the auction? Or if you're out, simply type in out into the chat at $1,360,000. Yan Yan, paddle 9. You've got the lead and it looks like it's your property if there's no better bid at $1,360,000. Once. Here we go. 3 calls and sell. Second time now, all done and finished at $1,360,000, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call it away for the third and final time. Jeff, I just want to make sure that we've definitely got your best bid before we knock down today at $1,360,000. If you can just type out into the chat or your next bid if you're still in the auction at $1,360,000. You're out. Thank you for your bidding at $1,360,000. First call, second call, third and final opportunity. We'll sell away now at $1,360,000. It's selling. It's sold. And congratulations, Yan Yan, paddle 9. Well purchased here this morning. To Jeff, I'm sorry you've missed out today. I'm sure Darryl and Alan will be in contact as they will. If you've tuned in, you're thinking about selling your home, Darryl and Alan are your team to contact here in Glen Waverley. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ray White and our vendors, my name's Andrew Davies. It's been my great pleasure to be your auctioneer here this morning. Thank you and good day.